fantastic Wednesday, 1st of the month, August.
Hey.
And it's time for Business Express. Good morning, Rotus. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Happy new month. I think it's so corny saying that.
I could feel you hesitating your spirit. Why?
I've joined them. If you can't beat them, join them. So Lagos, happy new month. Folu, happy new month.
Lagos, chat with us. Send us your happy new month messages using the hashtag Business Express 981 up on Twitter, or by sending to our WhatsApp number, which is 0809 444 0981. We are streaming live on YouTube as well, so a big wave and hello to all our YouTube live viewers out there. And without further ado, I'll let Rotus get into it.
Thank you, Folu. I want to welcome Eromosele of Afri. Good morning, sir.
Good morning and welcome to the coolest month of the year.
It's your birthday month. Yes, it's his birthday month.
That's how they used to behave.
Oh my goodness. All right, so the markets, it's been positive this last couple of days. Again, yesterday up by 0.19%, 37,017.78 points is where we closed. Like I said, July was going to be negative. So for July, we're down by 3.2%. For the year, we're still 3.29. For the year, we're down by 3.2 so far. But the market did relatively well. Consumer goods was the lead sector that was up, buoyed by Nestle. I don't want to dump on Cadbury again, so I'm not going to talk about Nestle's results. But Nestle's results is very good, and they always time it very well. They release it right when Cadbury releases theirs and make them look really bad. But anyway, still though, we had just 17 gainers yesterday, 24 losers. Equity Assurance was the top gainer. Okomo Oil was the top loser. Diamond Bank was in second place on the losers chart. If we have time, we'll get to their performance, which wasn't very impressive. But first, Folu and Kari, they already mentioned it during the news. Eromosele, we have a new chairperson for ECOWAS.
Yeah. President Buhari.
Yes, President Buhari. Yes, congrats to him. He takes over from, I think it was the Togolese president who was the last chairperson for ECOWAS. But one of the things, they said they were going to talk about security, but they also said they've been talking about this thing since, 1993, the single currency for Africa. They are still on this matter. Apparently there was a meeting there. I wish I could be a fly on the wall to hear what they spoke about at the last meeting and what differences they included in this new meeting. But your thoughts? What this single currency for Africa thing, is it dead in the water, or it seems like they keep talking about it?
Really, it's been going on for quite some time now, and yes, we're probably trying to copy the model in Europe.
Yeah.
But if you consider the conditions of the European economies and the peculiarities of our own African economies, based on the current structure of these markets, it most likely will not work.
It's going to be so challenging.
In terms of looking at intra-Africa trade, what's the proportion of intra-Africa trade that we actually have? Having a single currency is supposed to facilitate things like trade, making it easier for you to get access to certain currencies and eliminate some currency barriers that could have existed. But in intra-Africa trade currently is still well below 30%. So implementing single currency now would probably be a challenge. After implemented single currency, or in order to implement a single currency, you probably also have to have a central bank.
Right. So that means we give up our own
central bank who controls liquidity to the market. And based on the current conditions in different economies, here in Nigeria, currently we're focusing on maintaining exchange rate stability.
Right.
That has been the determining factor for the amount of liquidity that the CBN has allowed into the market. But once we adopt a single currency like this, what happens to all these sort of plans? But I feel like it's still a long way off for us.
Okay. Well, I wish they would release the minutes of this meeting because I want to know.
That's why they're still talking. The struggle is a lot.
Folu, you're a travel buddy. Imagine you being able to go to who is in ECOWAS now, Ivory Coast, for example, and not having to change to dollars and then change to their.
Listen, I'm right there with you. Who's the central bank for the entire continent? Then there are all these questions that come up, right? And we have so many issues, even with just trading across borders or even just flying across borders. Currencies is a way more complex thing, especially in this age of nationalistic tendencies.
Right. Thanks for reminding me. By the way, we still haven't signed the African Continental
exactly.
Agreement. So
I was going to go to that. So we still haven't even signed that. If that was in play, then maybe we could make a stronger argument for adoption of a single currency. But I mean, till then,
it's not happening. Okay. Okay. So let's see now. Pensions. Let's move on to pensions. We have the May 2018 Pension Fund Assets and Registration Report. It's encouraging. I think we're looking at the number of folks that registered or rather enrolled into the various pension programs. And Eromosele, it looks like the younger folks are age mates, at least for us here. We're not old now. We're still
I'm an elder millennial. That's what they call us. Elder millennial.
So I'm showing that group, between the 30 to 49 age bracket, had the largest portion of enrollment in pensions.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really surprising in the sense that we've seen a lot of migration from the low income earners to middle income earners as well. Also considering the fact that about 50% or more thereabout of the Nigerian population is less than, I think, about 40 years old, people are getting jobs. The awareness of the importance of a pension is becoming a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, an image that I still have in my head right from childhood when I started hearing about pensioners was you'd go to some certain places and you'd see long ass queues of old people that have been coming every day, standing under the sun, waiting for their pets. I mean, that view in your head sort of gives you a better sense of the importance of actually having a pension. Now you have to have that plan for a future. I mean, your pension shouldn't be the only thing you be hoping to depend on in the future. But I mean, it's nice to have that that's at the back of as backup.
Okay.
Interesting. We are going to have a special with regards to pensions today, actually, on Lagos Talks 981. So if you guys are interested in finding out more, we have some reps from Pencom coming in, so that should be interesting. We also have a few messages coming in. Casey says, Eromosele of Afri Invest, it's very nice to hear your voice. I missed you and your analysis, so welcome back.
Nice.
We also have this message in from Ayola on WhatsApp, who says, how come Buhari has just been appointed chairman of ECOWAS when his tenure ends in May next year? Are they trying to preempt the outcome of the elections? Guys, come on now.
Ayola.
Come on.
Come on.
Let's not be suspicious of
I'm
everything.
not even touching that message.
Winga Kamu says Nigeria is the biggest RAM in West Africa, and we influence the economics of other sub-regions, except we allow Morocco to pour sand in our gari.
Venga, good
all
point.
the way from north.
You know.
And Stanley Welewa says, I don't think Africa is ripe for a single currency. So many challenges and its way of implementation. Africa needs to just keep building.
Good points. Thank you so much for your message. All right, so just real quick again, it was a total of 55,038 members then enrolled in various pension programs. It was up by 7% from the new additions recorded in April. One thing that did jump out to me though, as far as the newcomers that of the 55,000, 36,800 were male, only 18,000 were female. So there's still quite a lopsided figure there with regards to the gender allocations with pensions. I want to say that we still have a very, very low pension penetration rate. Labor force is about 85 million. Let's say the total number of folks that enrolled in one pension or the other is about 8 million. So you're looking at just 9%. South Africa is 52% of their labor force that is enrolled. Even Kenya, even though it's lower, 14%, we still have a ways to go, man.
I mean, we still have a long way to go, but I mean, there have been some steps in the right direction with the growth that we've seen. But again, there's still a lot of employers that are not compliant, even some states as well here in Nigeria. So there's that need for that awareness and probably increased regulation to try to ensure that
more people are enrolled. If anyone is wondering, our total assets, I think it's risen to 8.1 trillion. Yeah, so that's also been rising as well. Okay, from pensions we move to SMEs. The Afreximbank and the AfDB have come. That's the African Development Bank. They've come together to provide a $500,000 grant scheme for SMEs. They, I think, announced it yesterday or the day before. The first thing that jumped out to me was, and this is across Africa, because I thought it was just Nigeria, but this is across Africa. Eromosele, isn't this the amounts? I don't know. Lagos, what do you think? $500K. That's how much is that in naira?
About 180 million.
180 million naira for SMEs. I mean, a lot of, if you think about, most of them need what, 100K, 200, 300. Yeah, could spread around, but isn't that the amount? Isn't it a little small?
It's quite small actually for these SMEs, but going through the story, it seems like they're targeting about 20 firms that this money will be split between. But I mean, like you said, it's still quite small going across Africa, because if you break that down, how much is that per firm if we actually go with 20?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, hey, look, every little bit helps if you're an SME looking at that. And then still, remember, the SMEs are the engine of our economy, so they're the ones that push and need as much help as possible. I will continue my campaign for single-digit interest rate loans for everybody, not just yes. I know. I just
continue campaigning. It ain't happening, bro.
Everybody needs a loan, please. Dear HSTV and listens to this show, please, help us out.
And
all the banks.
Please, who is going to be giving the loans at single digits? I'm just curious.
Well, it has to be the banks now.
Here's the thing: you have MPR at 14%. No bank is giving any loan at 14%.
Below that.
Prime lending rate from prime borrowers is about 19% thereabouts. So
well, we need this money now.
Messages are flooding in. So let's go to these messages quickly. Yinka says, talking about pensions, there's something going on in a subtle manner with the number of people heading to Canada. These persons are approaching their pension guys to claim that they're out of a job, hence 25% of it, and then they jet out. What happens to the remaining 75% if they grow old and probably die in Canada?
Well, look, regardless of where you are, if you could move to Canada, Russia, wherever, you still have legal access to your pension once you turn the retirement age, so it's okay.
Steady Hand says, I don't think Africa is ready for a single currency. We have other things to consider in this part of the world. All right. While we've got this one in from Obajimi Adewale, who says, I think that what helped the pensions industry was the hard work of the regulator that ensured it was statutory for everyone to have a pension. Trust, if it wasn't statutory, a lot of Nigerians will not enroll. We will think that someone wants to collect the money and whack it. I think this should be replicated in the insurance sector.
Right.
Very true. Wangwinga Kamu says, it's not just the enrollment. Employers take pension money from workers and don't remit it to the pension fund managers. Again, true. I once worked in an organization where for a greater part of 10 years, pension was not remitted.
Okay, but PENCOM has
Report.
made... Yeah, exactly. exactly. PENCOM has made... they have a whistleblower thing, where you can call a phone number and then report anonymously, so there's no revenge on your part. Who sent this message? ECOWAS
we'll block them too.
This August new month thing. All right, real quick. I've only got about a minute left. We've been doing corporate performance reports, finances for half year. Real quick, Transcorp Hotels, 2.2 billion naira profit after tax. Eromosele, an increase from last year. I'm showing they had decent performance from them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean from Transcorp, going by statements from the CEO, we've seen increased occupancy rate. I mean, going back to last year, one of the key things that affected performance of the hospitality industry as a whole was the FX challenges that we're having, especially in the first quarter, because they have a lot of FX related costs. But we've seen that improve. General conditions in the economy have also improved, and this has translated down to better numbers for this company.
Okay, and I also show that the CEO is also saying that they are trying to use tech to improve things at the hotel. They're launching some app that allows their guests to order food, check into their rooms, and do a number of things all from the palm of their hands in their phone. That makes life easier,
and there was something else I read in the statement that just made me laugh.
Yeah, so, what did he say?
I think the Calabar one, he made a statement about also improving internet services.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like,
what is that? Is that gonna help?
Services?
The internet in Calabar is not very strong. Again, ICT. That's we know which ministry is supposed to be handling that, right? Let's not turn it into tech. let's not turn it into Tech Friday. Also, Diamondback. I only got 20 seconds. Not very impressive results on their end.
Quite poor. We have both. Top line was marginally up about 0.6%. Top line gross earnings.
Right, gross earnings, yeah.
And profit after tax was down about 78%.
Ouch.
I mean, one important thing from their results is that we saw their interest expenses rise, despite the fact that deposits were lower, which shows the increased competition which is as a result of increased competition for deposits in the industry.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Okay.
Just to round up, Olaoluwa up on our YouTube live stream here, Olaoluwa Akinola, he says, you can't blame anyone if they don't trust the system, when politicians are also looking at the same fund-to-fund capital projects in a country where almost nothing is working.
Olaoluwa, thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Appreciate that. Eromosele of Afri Invest, thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll look forward to your birthday this month.
Hey, cake for everybody.
Guys, thanks for all your messages out there. We appreciate it.
All right, but do keep listening, because coming up next we got some great music. Amy Winehouse, Lauryn Hill, Gregory Porter, and so much more. And of course at 7:30 we jump into detailed newspaper analysis inside of Freshly Pressed. So keep listening to Smooth Breakfast.
Thank you.